So welcome to the Go Pro in Life podcast, something that we kind of came up with to be able to bring some kids on and talk about different subjects, what's going on in the world, what's going on in the community, what's going on in their world. I'm the co-host, Marco. I'm the host, and this is my co-host, O'Shea. We'll be bringing on kids and interviewing them probably from the ages of 13 to about 21. The main subject we'll be focusing on is how they plan to go pro in life if they don't make it pro in sports. I think that's something that we always emphasize. It's one of our mottos. It's kind of the name of the podcast, but we want to emphasize to those kids that knowledge and education is something that is more important than basketball, baseball, and football. And some of your athletic ability can be taken away from you at any time, but all the knowledge and education that you get is something that will never leave you. So we have a special guest today. Like I said, co-host will be O'Shea. We're bringing on a couple of kids. We'll introduce them shortly, but this is called the Go Pro in Life podcast. We're hoping to bring you some local news. We'll also be interviewing multiple kids, just kind of making sure that we are touching base. We're out of St. Joseph, Missouri, right outside of Kansas City, Missouri, but something new, something different, kind of giving the kids a voice and some platform to be able to come on here and talk about different things going on in the world and what their plans are for in the future. Anything, O'Shea?
No, I ain't got nothing, man. You hit it all. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, so I think one of the things we want to talk about is going pro in life. We tell kids all the time that, less than 2% of college athletes go pro in sports. So I think you got to have that backup plan. You got to have something else that's going to get you where you need to go if sports are not the alternative for you. Speaking of go pro in life, hey, I feel like we've done pretty well. I'm somebody that came from the neighborhood, kind of something to nothing, from nothing to something kind of deal. So where I'm at right now, I started off as an entry-level operator. I've worked my way all the way up to a manager. Been there 14 years. So I feel like that is kind of going pro in life, especially from where I come from. I'm from the neighborhood, Midtown, St. Joseph, Missouri, where some people give it a bad mark. But I'm definitely went through the school, St. Joseph School District. I'm from Midtown. I feel like we are Midtown. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, we have those conversations and talk about what is Midtown, who represents Midtown. I really feel like we are Midtown. So I think we'll be speaking out, probably bringing up some things that we'd like to see get done in Midtown and just kind of touching base to make sure that our voice is heard and our kids' voices are heard. We'll be bringing on 13 to 19, 20-year-olds. They can be male or female. So hoping to bring on some pretty special guests. We already had some pretty good people that's going to be coming on the show. So looking forward to bringing you guys some very entertaining conversations in the future.
Yeah, just stay tuned, man. It's going to be a lot of great stuff coming in the works. To follow up what he said, I'm born and raised here as well. Big in the community, as a neighborhood kid, I was hanging around all the adults, all the older people. So, I come from a different background than a lot of these kids that we are around. Same as Coach, we come from different eras and different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, our mission and our focus is the same, and that's what really matters. I'm thankful that he brought me along to be a part of this journey, to be a part of something that can be great. How I tell him every time, it's just a start. It's just a beginning for us. The future is bright, not just for us, but for these kids that we are handling and around mentoring. So I started out just being a lost kid, didn't have a father. Most of these kids on our team, they got fathers, so our background really don't relate, but we can relate it with going pro in life. I feel like I went pro in life with all the circumstances I went through and all the stuff I overcame. I got a CDL, so I try to do right to lead for my brother, but not just him, those kids that are looking up to me as well. So that's what we're aiming for.
I mean, yeah, I think, O'Shea, speak to that fact with your brother, you know what I'm saying? I think we've all went through some trials and tribulations in life. I definitely am somebody that made a lot of mistakes. So, I was young and made some mistakes and had to pay some pretty severe consequences. So we always tell the kids, though, some of the choices that you make could come with some consequences and repercussions. We're at the age now to where, that can be taken care of from me and Coach and the parents. But after you get 15, 16, 17 years old, sometimes that power and that ability is taken out of our hands. And then you're dealing with somebody downtown or maybe a judge or some other sort of law enforcement. Man, that's something we're trying to keep kids away from. So made a lot of mistakes in my life. I didn't wake up and start doing right and acting right till I was in my late 20s, to be honest. So I was one of those guys that, Yeah, it wasn't good in certain situations, but I think it was all a learning experience. When I look back at it, man, everything I went to got me where I'm at today. I'm a firm believer in God, you know what I'm saying? And we tell our kids, you know what I'm saying, God / higher power, you can believe in whoever or whatever you want, as long as you know that it is something greater than you that is probably controlling this universe. Like I said, I'm 48 years old now. O'Shea's a little bit younger, but I think, he's an old soul, man. I think we kind of click, and he's more like my little brother. So it wasn't as far as bringing him in. He was already a part of it. We just finally linked up, and we kind of talk about, some of this stuff may be a preconceived destination. We ain't doing this stuff for no reason. I think, God has touched us. We started doing some prayers actually at practice and in the game. So just something a little bit more touching. We know that everybody has their own journey and their own beliefs, but we want to make sure that these kids know and understand that, God is real. You know what I'm saying? I think it's something that has helped me get to where I'm at today. I've been in some pretty dark places, and places I would never want to see anybody in. As a young man, 17, 18 years old, put myself in some predicaments that was not good. But, I had to learn from those experiences, and I had to grow. So I think a big thing for me is I finally opened up. You know what I'm saying? I had a closed off mind. My mindset, I kind of had tunnel vision, and what I thought it was, that's what it was. And then I finally got to the realization that, man, you know what? I don't know everything. I had to really make that admittance to be like, man, people know more than me. But, I always was somebody that studied and liked to kind of clarify what I'm talking about. And I tell my kids now and all the boys, man, you know what you know. And can't nobody tell me what I know, okay? But if I don't know, I might defer to somebody else and kind of let them tell the story. But if I'm speaking on the actual and factual, it's because I did a little bit of research and I had some knowledge and some education about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of rolling right into that, knowledge and education is something that we put on the kids, man. We do grade checks. We want to make sure that, your sports ability, that can be taken away in one run down the court, one jump up in the air. So, but that knowledge and education that you get, it can't go nowhere, man. And then you can pass it on. So we're trying to really empower these kids to kind of be us, but not make the mistakes that we made. I think we both had a lot of talent. I think we are well versed in a multitude of things, but we didn't take advantage of our opportunities. You know what I'm saying? I got a 19-year-old son right now, actually about to be 20, I believe. Yeah, he's about to be, well, actually he is 20. He's just now about to go back into college. So, he was up at Iowa Western, played a little bit of football, did pretty well on some really good teams. Unfortunately had an injury, just trying to get himself back on the mend and kind of back where he needs to be at. So he just got an offer from one of the local colleges, I believe it's Highland. So hopefully he makes that change and gets over there and takes advantage of some of the opportunity. I mean, he's very athletic, 6'1", 6'2", 180, 190, just a lot of talent, man. I got 4 boys. I kind of didn't talk about that, but 4 boys, some of the most proudest things in my life is, my kids, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to go through some of the things that I went through, My oldest son, Lil Marco, he just graduated college, man. He's 24 years old. Took him 5.5 years, but I'm like, hey, dude, he stuck it out. So now, it's pretty inspirational that he's actually going to be a coach and a teacher, man. So, I kind of had a little running joke with him, dude. You better than me, man. You about to get paid to coach. Me and this guy, we coaching it's volunteer coaching, man. We love the game, and we want to make sure that these kids get stuff that we didn't get. Had some really good coaches back in the day, Dennis Mosey, Babe McGoy. I'm talking about these guys were the best. When I look back at it, man, them guys, man, they really inspired me. They really put me up from the playground. Me and my brother Doug up from the playground. They pretty much came by the playground. I was probably 10, 11 years old. Y'all want to play football? Yeah. Get in the back of the truck. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even ask our parents yet. So, after we came from football practice, he was like, man, let's go talk to your mom. And then, he kind of asked about a small fee. It was like, man, it's going to be like $50, $75 to play football. And we didn't have no cleats. We didn't have nothing. And honestly, man, that was a big deterrent. So I went and asked my mom, hey, Mom, we're going to get to play football. It's $75. Hey, it was shut down immediately. She's like, hey, if I got to pay anything, y'all not playing, okay? So we kept going to practice, and then, I kind of got up the mustard enough to ask the coach. I'm like, hey, coach, because he asked us twice. He's like, man, your mom going to pay that money? I'm like, man, honestly, coach, my mom ain't got the money, you know what I'm saying? So if we got to pay $150 for both of us to play, we can't pay, man, but we'll do some work, we'll do some something. He's like, get out there, just get out there, you know what I'm saying? So come to find out, he knew our mom a little bit better, and our families were a little bit more entwined than I knew. And, Coach Babe McGoy, man, took care of me and my brother, man. Got me my first pair of football cleats, paid for my first 3 years of football. I did not pay a dime. Neither did my brother Doug. And, at a young age, I didn't even really have a name. You know what I'm saying? My brother Doug was so good at sports that I was just Doug's little brother. I ain't even gonna lie. Until almost my sophomore year, man, people didn't call me. Oh, that's Doug's little brother.
Man.
That was Doug's little brother, man.
Facts.
We just glad to be able to bring you some stuff, man. You know, this is fresh, this is new, man. I think we got a lot of stuff that we can talk about. Our story is deep. You know, I just kind of touched on it, just kind of touched subsurface, but man, it's deeper than that, man. Come from where we come from, man. We are doing something, and we are motivating, and we are trying to corral and gather these kids and let them know it's bigger than basketball. So we don't just go talking here, oh, this is what you need to do about basketball. There's always a life lesson. There's always a life conversation at every basketball practice that we have. So we usually take a little bit of time and get in a circle and have a conversation. I know the kids sometimes get irritated, you know what I'm saying? But they got to hear it. You know, even if you don't want to hear it, you got to hear it.
You got to. You know, the hard truth is something that we need to embrace. You know, we need to be able to take criticism from those that love us and those that don't even know us. You know, it's all about what you take from it. What I think, you know, like you said, when it comes to these kids, we giving them something that we didn't have, but also we giving them an outlet to know there's more than life than just being a follower. You know, we more so guiding them on a way to choose their own path and their own future, you know, because at the end of the day, you control your destiny. You know, with the power of God behind you, there's nothing you can't be or nothing you can't do, you know, so we want to make sure that all the kids that come in contact with us know that it's a safe haven when you're around us. You can tell us whatever, you can talk about whatever. You know, it's a no judgmental zone in our practice. Me, I'm big on the whole concept of being family. You know, so when we in practice, I make sure every one of them boys know we're family, you know. We got each other's back. We ride together, we die together. And that's just more so what it comes to, you know. Me and Coach both are the same. We don't tolerate bullying, making fun of. We don't really do much of that. You know, there's a time and place for that type of stuff. You know, I believe when we in the gym, whether it's the gym, the court, the field, wherever, you know, it's time to lock in. You know, everybody got these dreams and aspirations, and actions speak louder than words. You know, there's a lot of people in life that say this or that, but their actions don't match it. So if you want to be that person for your family, but for yourself, your actions got to match it. You know, so if you want to be something in life, it all starts with your action. You know, you got to be a man of your word. That's what we try to teach them, you know. Really just the simple principles and morals of life, you know. Teach them how to stand up for themselves, you know. We don't let nobody bully us, but we also don't bully, you know. We intervene and we do right when it's needed. You know, right is right and wrong is wrong at the end of the day. But when you with us, we with you no matter what. Whether you're right or wrong, we're going to be with you. But we also going to be the ones that correct you and give you that honest talk to let you know you was in the wrong or however the case plays out. But that's what it comes down to. You know, these kids is really a blessing. I know for me, you know, like he said, he got 4 kids. I don't got no kids, but I felt like I stepped in the role that I'm in now at 28 years old. I'm a stepdad to 3 kids, you know, and I feel like that says a lot about my character. You know, it takes a real man, I believe, to step in and take care of another person's responsibilities, you know. And it's something I love, something I cherish, you know. Them kids, I love them like they mine, so I wouldn't change it for nothing, you know. I just think everything happens for a reason, you know. And I'm a firm believer of that, for real.
Yeah, I think I'm with him the same, you know what I'm saying? I spoke about 2 boys, but, you know, I also got another kid that went to college for a little while, didn't work out for him, but now he's at one of our local factories here, National Beef. He's kind of a lead man down there, kind of doing his thing. So he's made me proud as well, you know. He's moved out of his house. This used to be his bedroom, actually, you know what I'm saying? I was just telling the fellas before he got down here, you know, this was his bedroom. Now it's kind of the man cave / the podcast studio, but Makai, man, very smart kid. He got a really high score on his ACT, has some really good athletic ability. Unfortunately, you know, college wasn't for him, and college ain't for everybody.
It's not.
It's not, you know what I'm saying? Then we got Mikael, who's 13 years old. He's the youngest, so we're investing a lot on him, in him, and we actually probably, you know, I'm probably tough on him than I am anybody, and I hate to be like that, but you know, when you're a kid and you see what the potential and the possibilities are, you just want to make sure. My dream is that my kids are better than me, you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. If you're better than me, you know what I'm saying, in anything, that's where I want you to be, okay? I want to look up and I want to have that conversation, be like, man, my kid is better than me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I want to be at. So that's really where I kind of focus up, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a perfect parent. I'll tell you the same thing. I still make mistakes parenting. It's still a learning experience for me. I still probably spend too much time at the basketball court or too much time in the gym. But, you know, it really gives me life, you know what I'm saying? I have a strong passion for it. I tell my wife, man, like, hey, you know, it's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's what I want to do. It's what makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? That gives me that fresh air that breathes back into me every time we go to practice, man. Especially when we get these new kids and we see the growth, man. We just did the little 3-point contest and the free throw contest, man. We had a couple of kids out there. I don't think they ever made a shot, man. And we sat in there for 45 minutes to an hour and taught them and trained them and coached them. Now we got their parents are reaching out, man. Them kids love that, man. They appreciate what you did and the way that you talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Just because we're motivational. You know what I'm saying? We know that everybody can't do everything. I was just talking to a coach, a friend of mine, Nelson Wilson, actually a cousin of mine who's coaching a high school team in Iowa, and he kind of gave me a quote, and I heard it before, but he said, how you do some things is how you do everything, man, and that was kind of powerful with me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet. I'm really trying to get it all together, but I still have falls and I still have faults, you know what I'm saying? I still revert back to some of my old ways, not completely my old ways, but sometimes, you know, I have to think about what I'm going to say before I say it just to make sure when it comes out, it doesn't come off as such, man. So, you know, even with work, you know what I'm saying? I know you said work is going pretty good for you. Hey, work's a little challenging for me right now. You know, I've been with the company for 14 years, man, and I think, you know, it's getting tougher and tougher. I feel like I've done a really good job. I've had a lot of professional disposition at work. I started as an entry-level operator and worked my way all the way up to a manager after 14 years, starting off in the warehouse at $13.10 an hour, okay? And I was an overtime man. Hey, anytime they had some overtime, hey, don't even ask nobody, because I looked at that point, I'm like, man, I'm making $13.10, but when I'm on overtime time and a half, I'm making $20 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I can multiply that 20 real quick. 20 times 20 is 400. You know what I'm saying? 20 times, you know what I'm saying? I was on it, man, and that was really a beautiful thing, man, but I didn't miss a day of work for the first 4 years, man. Not a day of work, you know what I'm saying? I had a guy ask me when I got this manager position, he came, he's like, man, he said, first of all, he said, you should apply for this other manager spot. I said, man, I'm kind of good where I'm at. I'm comfortable. I'm packaging. I know what I'm doing. I got a good crew. It's like, yeah, man, but you know, if you go up here, you can kind of shed your own light, man. You know what I'm saying? You in somebody else's light right now, okay? When you go up here, you can cast your own light. You can have your own shadow. You can have all these people that you kind of built from the ground up, and you kind of molded, you know, kind of that grassroots way, man. And that was exciting for me. So I took advantage of the opportunity, man, and it's been great, you know, but the last year and a half, man, you know, things have changed, man. And I think I'm starting to get treated a different sort of way. You know what I'm saying? I know things change, but, you know, I was told at one point, treat this like it's your own business. You know what I'm saying? I've been super successful in doing that. We are doing some great things, but I think, you know, I told some people here a while back that I feel like I do the most with less, and I get treated the worst. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, that's not no way to feel. You know, I used to go to work and I used to enjoy work, going there. Like, man, this is cool. I had some good friends, some good networking. We always had a good time. Now it's a little bit different, man. And, you know, it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. And I'm hoping to stick it out, man. But I just don't know how much longer I'm going to be there, man. I think I have other avenues and other ventures. That's why we starting this, man. We want to do something bigger than us. I know that I'm not just somebody just is going to be punching the clock my whole life. You know, I always thought that I wanted to retire by like 50 some years old, because I want to live life. You know, I go to work so I can live. I don't live to work. You know what I'm saying? I think some people have that kind of backwards. I was just telling one of my employees the other day that, you know, if this place is everything to you, man, you got a problem, man. You need to have something outside of here, something that you have value, something that motivates you. It can't just be all about work. How's your job going?
You know, my job cool, but back to what you were saying with growing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of people are really comfortable with where they at, you know, and I feel like that's the downfall of a lot of people. It's comfortable. You know, you forever stay comfortable, you're gonna be stagnant. You never gonna have room to grow. You know, like we tell these kids, even myself, you know, I like uncomfortable situations, you know. Sometimes you gotta step outside your comfort zone in order for to grow. You know, if you wanna see better and be better, you gotta get outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself and push yourself to the limits, you know. And that's what I do in my everyday life. No matter what job I've ever had, I never settle. You know, I feel like he said, I don't want to punch a clock my whole life. You know, I got bigger dreams than I can explain to anybody or that anyone will ever get. And the only person that can see my vision and understand my dream is me. You know, it's my job to bring it to life, you know, so they can see the vision that I was seeing, you know. So that's what we tell the boys. I tell myself, even my stepkids, you know, like, don't ever get comfortable in life. You know, the minute you get comfortable, that's when life starts becoming boring. You know, that's when you start living the SpongeBob life. You know, wake up, work, home, wake up, work, home. And then that's when people fall into mental breakdowns, you know, start getting depressed and start having those what ifs and if I, and don't have no what ifs. You know, if you want something, you believe in it, go ahead on. You know, the only way to grow in life is to fail. You know, so it's what you do with the failure. You know, if you take lessons from every L that you ever took, it's never a failure. You know, that's how I see life. You know, every obstacle, every risk I've ever took, I was thankful for it. Whatever the outcome was, I was thankful because I learned from it. So in order to grow, you got to constantly fail, you know, so you can know what to do different next time you cross that path of whatever it is in life that you're trying to achieve. And that's what I feel like my life is resolved around. For the longest, I wasn't that person. I was comfortable with going to work and knowing boom, 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 this is that. On the weekends, I'm going out partying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but never really thought about my future, you know, until recently. I'm 28, so I ain't really start thinking like that until 25, 24. You know, I was more so of a just go with the motion type of person. And now I feel like if I'm just not doing nothing constructive with my life, I feel like it's a wasted day, you know. Like I tell everybody, we all get the same 24 hours. What matters is what you do in those 24 hours. My goal every day I wake up is to be better than I was yesterday. If I can be better than I was the day before, I know that I'm moving forward. But if I wake up every day and don't feel like I made no progress or did anything, I feel like I failed myself, you know, and I don't want to be a failure to myself. So I feel like I wake up every day with a chip on my shoulder to be something, because where we come from, you know, it's a lot of doubt. A lot of people don't want to see you doing better. A lot of people don't want to see you doing better than them. You know, a lot of people.
Crab in the barrel effect, man. We kind of talked about that. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people show that fake love. They want you to do good, just not better than them. So once they see you start pulling away from them, they try to find a way to pull you back, you know, because they're scared to get out there.
Yeah, they want you to win, but hope you lose. You know what I'm saying? I think one of my guys, E40 or somebody said that. But man, I mean, I know certain people that they feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? When you shining brighter than them or looking better than them in any way, you know what I'm saying? It's always. I think it's been like that for years though. So I think that started years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, when the student becomes better than the master. Ooh, man, you know what I'm saying? So it's a problem. I don't care what you're talking about, whether it's the streets, whether it's at work, and I think that's something that, you know, even with work, you know what I'm saying? I think sometimes, you know, you have better relationships with different people and you do things a little bit better, and maybe you're stealing some of their shine, or people are calling you and reaching out to you, and now they feel like, man, they going around me, but I've established that relationship and we've built this trust and we've built this some sort of relationship to where people feel comfortable talking to me and they feel like I'm going to give them an honest answer. Okay, exactly. I don't got no reason to lie. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna do what I do. I always try to tell my people, man, I always try to under promise and over deliver first. So when I say what I can do, it's usually about 20% off of that, just in case, because I know there's going to be some problems that happen. Okay, I know there's going to be some maintenance issues. I know there's going to be something in life. If we're just talking about life, man, nothing's ever going to just go as planned. It's not, man. That's a part of it. Okay, it'd be too easy if it did. Too easy.
That's why I hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Man.
You know, you got to stay ready.
I live by that, man. At 16, 17 years old, man, that really, you know what I'm saying, that did something to me. I had to really have that because I found myself in a situation to where, you know, bad things were going to happen. So, you know, the only way that I could get my mind prepared is like, hey, the worst that can happen is this. Oh, I got that. I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know, you know what I'm saying? At 17 years old, I was incarcerated, okay? You know what I'm saying? I was convicted felon, you know, at 17 years old, you know. So from 17 to 21, I was locked up, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a great learning experience, but I didn't learn everything I needed to learn in that, you know what I'm saying, in them 4 years, because I still was resistant to authority. Anybody telling me what to do, I'm like, oh, if you told me to do it, I'm not going to do it. Go right, I'm going left every time, you know what I'm saying? I was that type, man. So when I got out on parole and was reporting and stuff, you know, I had some parole officers like, Mr. Dudley, what are you going to do, man? I'm like, man, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And unfortunately, I had to bump my head a couple of more times and kind of get myself together, man. So that's why I say it took me till I was about 28 years old to actually wake up and be like, you know what? I don't know it all, and I have to act right and do right if I'm going to live in this society. I can't just be the only person out here thinking like, hey, it's all about me and don't nobody care, you know what I'm saying? But now, a lot of me and my friends, you know, we taught each other, man. We made a lot of mistakes, and, you know, my dad wasn't really around, you know what I'm saying? My mom was there, but she worked a lot. I grew up at grandma's house, you know what I'm saying? We was at grandma's house 7, 8, 10 deep. I'm talking about me and my cousins was raised like brothers. I'm talking about we ate off the same plate, drunk out the same, hey, had shared the same cover. We had
Clothes.
one fan before we had AC, man. It was real. So that love, it was genuine, man. So some of my cousins are more like my brothers than my brother. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against my brother, but we just locked in like that. You know what I'm saying? People that, you know what I'm saying, like Ace, JD. I mean, people, we was locked in. You know what I'm saying? My Uncle BD, you know what I'm saying? People that was around and seen the struggle. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so appreciative of where I'm at today, man. They see me at my lowest and my wildest. You know, I was one of them guys that, man, if you wanted a problem, oh, you got the right one. You know what I'm saying? I was that type, you know what I'm saying? Never super big in stature, but I felt like I was 6'4", 220. I mean, that's how I felt. That's how I felt my whole life. I'm not playing. I mean, you know, my best friend, A-Dog, Aaron Lee, you know what I'm saying? He was 6'4", 207. I felt like we was the same, you know what I'm saying? Just because that's what type of mentality I had, man. That came from coming out the mud, man. We was in the backyard, man. Our entertainment, my uncle's entertainment. I'm 9, 10 years old out there fighting my 12, 13-year-old cousins in the backyard, okay? Come in here crying if you want to, okay?
Man.
Come in here crying if you want to. I had my great-grandmother, Lydia Mae Langford, man. We learned something at a young age at her house, man. She lived off about 22nd and Edmond, man. So if we get in trouble in her house, everybody's getting a spanking, okay? So it'd be 7 or 8 of us, and we in the backyard. Hey, we learned to police each other, okay? Because she was the type that you had to go get your own switch, okay? We go get our switch, and we lined up. It'd be 7 or 8 of us lined up, okay? And she's ready to give it to you, okay? So we were pretty much like, hey, man, anything that happens out here stays out here. So we stopped going in there. If you went and told the granny, oh boy, you know, you had it coming at some point. You know what I'm saying? You might get jumped on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we go jump on this dude. You know what I'm saying? So that only lasted for a little while. But honestly, man, you know what I'm saying? They kind of instilled some stuff in us that was a little different, man. You know what I'm saying? It was that unity, okay? It's not the same anymore. Families and that unity is not the same anymore. Everybody used to go to grandma's, okay? That was the check-in spot, okay? I used to tell some of my people, hey, I don't even know. You're not officially a Dudley until you go to grandma's for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or something. You got to check in, man. You got to check in one time to be like, okay, so we can validate you. Okay, you Uncle John's son or Uncle Donnie's or Uncle Woolie's, you know what I'm saying? We used to catch a new one. I think it was about 6 years in a row, man. We caught a new cousin, you know what I'm saying? Like just meeting them, okay? So they're 18, 19, 20 years old and they want to come and meet the Dudleys. But I'm talking about these people who have been around all this time and we never knew them, man.
It wasn't that grandma's house.
And they check in and then they get the love, you know what I'm saying? Once we bring them in, it's love, baby. It's love, you know what I'm saying? Just like O'Shea said, man, we had a little conversation with some kids at practice the other day. You know, we had some kids, they were kind of ridiculing the kid and he was feeling some sort of way, you know what I'm saying, kind of crying. I'm like, hey, man, we stopped practice. We stopped practice. We shut it down, man. So, you know, that's something that we're not going to bully nobody. We're not going to laugh about anybody. You know what I'm saying? When you family, if somebody hurt my family, or something happened to my family, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to feel some sort of way about that. That's how it used to be. And even to this day, man, you know what I'm saying? We're not really going for that type of deal. So we was kind of just telling the kids, man, that's your people. We had cousins, brothers. I think he had some uncles there. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're not going to be around here, you know, while he's down and out and feeling some sort of way. You're supposed to be the pickup, or you're supposed to be telling these guys, hey, leave my people alone. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to step up and have that conversation. What'd you think about that situation, man?
Man, like we talked about that day, I felt it wasn't appropriate, you know, for the team to do that to our player, you know, because like I said, we family. But it also rubbed me a little wrong knowing that he had actual blood.
Yeah, right there.
Right in there with him. And they right along with the rest of them laughing and making fun of him to where, like you said, we wasn't raised like that, you know. Family's everything, you know. That's just what it comes down to, you know. If one's going at the family, you got to go at all of us, you know. So, like you said, we stopped that practice and make sure we touch base on that, let them know, hey, y'all probably wasn't raised like this, but this is how we was raised. We don't condone nobody picking on family. It's cool. If you pick on them,
we have a little bit of fun. Yeah, I can mess with you, but you can't mess with my brother.
Come on, man. That's how it's supposed to be.
Come on, man. So, man, we're back at it. We do have some special guests today. So we got my son, Mikael Dudley, who is 13 years old. We got Acacia Akambia, who's with us, who's other 13-year-old. Pretty good students, pretty good kids. Like I said, that's what we want to do. We want to bring kids on here and kind of give them that platform and have some conversation that maybe they haven't had, and really maybe spark some interest and spark some thoughts in their mind as far as what they want to do, how what they want to be, how they want to do things. We know they want to be basketball players, but we just want to make sure, have the conversation that, you know, if you don't make it as far as you want to go in sports, what else is going to happen? So we're building that backup plan. We want to let these kids know and understand that, hey, it's bigger than basketball with us, okay? We tell the kids all the time, you know, know, when they come into their first practice, we different over here, okay? We different. When everybody don't, you know, vibe with what we doing, you know, we trying to hold people responsible and accountable. I think when we came back from state this past year, where we took, you know, second place at, I guess we took third place this year, but we kind of said that we was going to focus in on structure and discipline, man. Structure and discipline, and, you know, with that coming, you know, the structure, discipline, not everybody likes that. So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not around anymore. And we're not knocking or saying anything bad about anybody, but everybody ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? We got to be accountable and responsible for what we do. You know,
Exactly.
I think we somebody, if we make a mistake, hey, I got to be the same person to be like, hey, you know, my bad. You know what I'm saying? That's on me. If you got to be man enough to say it, you know what I'm saying? You got to have that accountability.
Exactly. Like you said, structure and discipline is something that we big on. It was something we liked in the beginning, but it's something we came together and we figured out what was the missing piece to building this program to what it is me and him both see in the future. You know, so I think we zoned in on structure and discipline because it's deeper than just the basketball aspect. It's more so of like he says all the time, when you put this jersey on, you're a baller on the court and outside the court. So therefore, you represent us whether you're on the court or off the court, and that's what we want them to know. Like, you got to be a leader on the court the same way you got to be a leader off the court. You got to have respect. You know, that takes you a long way. Respect. You know, the way you carry yourself, the discipline you got. So that's what we key in on, is structure and discipline. And like he said before, God. You know, that's something I talked about with him, and he was along with it on instilling prayer before games and during practices. You know, we want them to know that God, like he said, a higher power, you got to give thanks to them because they're the reason you wake up and have this opportunity to go chase a dream or play a sport, because there's kids around the world that wish they can play the sport, but due to circumstances, they can't, you know, whether they can't walk, whether they amputated or whatever the case may be. There's kids out here that wish they was in their shoes, so we try to make them understand how lucky they are, you know.
It's a privilege. I think we talked about it. It's a privilege to be able to play sports, man.
Because there's some people that can't, or not even just that. Some people are just more naturally skilled than a lot of other people that other people don't got, you know, and that comes from genetics. So someone else might have to work 20 times harder than you just because they wasn't blessed with the same skill or ability you are. And then you got people that got that skill that take advantage of it and don't put no work in it. Like I always say, my favorite speech to my kids is hard work beats talent when talent fails to work. So you can be the most talented person, but if you don't put in that work, that means nothing. Because there's going to be someone that's always working harder than you, and that person is going to be the one that
might want it more.
That triumphs over you and shows you that I worked harder than you. Yeah, you jump higher than me, you stronger than me, you faster than me, but I shoot more shots than you. I dribble more than you. I'm more aggressive than you. So, and that's what it comes down to, is let them know you got to work hard. You can't just live life based off talents and natural abilities, you know. You got to take advantage of those and cherish that gift that God gave you and level it up, you know. Like I said, back to getting comfortable. You can't be comfortable with just knowing, oh, I'm the fastest player naturally. So I ain't got to do that. That's not the motto to have. That mindset ain't going to get you nowhere in life. You always got to feel like what it is I can do to be better. Like I said, every day you step in that gym or outside of life, what can I do to be better than I was yesterday?
Yeah, be a better you. Be a better you. I think some of the other things that we kind of talk about with the kids is that we can't want it more than you, okay? If the coaches wanted more than you and we putting forth more energy, more effort, and coming in with a better attitude than you, that's rough, man.
Won't ever work for you.
It won't work, man. You got to want it. You know what I'm saying? If you want it, hey, we can give you all the tools and all the attributes to make you successful, whether it be on and off the court, but you got to want it. I mean, just like at work, you know what I'm saying? I can teach anybody how to do anything, but they have to want to learn, okay? If you come in here with a preconceived notion that I can't teach you anything and I don't want to learn anything, I can't teach you nothing, absolutely nothing. So I think that does roll into what we were talking about, even with the kids. So I think Acacia and Mikel, so these guys are kind of standards, okay? They set the standards, okay? Acacia, I think, matter of fact, Acacia, you guys come on over here. Acacia and Mikel, come on over, man. You guys can have a seat over there, man. Have a seat, man. So real quick, you know what I'm saying? Hey, just, what's your name? You know what I'm saying? I want you to speak to the camera. I think we're looking at that one right there, right?
Yeah. My name is Acacia, and I'm a student at Bodie Middle School. I'm going to be in 8th grade next year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, my name's Mikael Dudley. I'm also going to Bodie Middle School. We're in the same grade. We're going in the 8th grade. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And so real quick, guys, tell us a little something about your grades. What type of grades did you get?
I got straight A's. Never had a B, not even in elementary. And that's just how I roll.
Yeah, I got all A's and B's. I don't got all A's though. I think my lowest grade was probably like at 87% or something. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. When we're talking about knowledge and education, these guys are the standards for the team. So we like to get all A's. We know sometimes it ain't possible, but when we got players on the team that are setting the standard up here, we have to have people up here. I think if we did a cumulative GPA, we'd probably be over 3.5. I don't think we have a whole lot of people on the team with no C's and D's. Like I said, we try to hold people accountable for those grades. So we've actually set players. People have not traveled with us because of grades. So those grades are very important, and it starts now, because if you don't get grades as you go into high school and you're not eligible, or 2.5, 5, 6 classes, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how good you are. So we want to take that out of the equation. Grades should never be a question. If you want to be an athlete, you got to be a student first. So I think a lot of people get it twisted because they're a really good athlete. They think that's going to get them by. Now you got to be a student, okay? We want you guys to be just as good a student as you are athletes. And if you guys do that, the world is wide open. So what do I tell you guys if you get all A's? What school can you go to?
Anywhere.
Any school in the nation.
Anywhere. For anything.
I'm a firm believer in that. We got a youngster up here. I just ran into him, Gabe Fields, okay? We just seen him at the little ice cream shop. He's going to come on the podcast as well. But he's somebody that got, I think, straight A's, okay? He's at Vanderbilt. SEC is kind of the Ivy League of the SEC is what I'm hearing. So we want those type of people to be who we look up to. We've had some great talent come around here. You guys are the next ones, okay? And that's why we try to push you so hard. We try to give you so many opportunities that we did not have. So anything else in reference to school? Who's your favorite teacher?
I like all my teachers. I don't really
have. What's your favorite
anything.
subject then?
I like science.
Why do you like science?
It's just we learn new things every day, and it's interesting.
Right. Okay, same question. Well, who's your favorite teacher? Maybe even favorite all-time teacher, and what's your favorite subject? Look at that camera too.
Oh, my bad. I don't think I got no favorite teacher, but my favorite subject is social studies, because I like to learn about like history and stuff like that.
Yeah, because history oftentimes repeats itself. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Me and my guy Dax was just talking about that. How it's just a cycle, and some things just repeat themselves. You know what I'm saying? We can go back 200, 300, 400, 500 years, man. I mean, it's a cycle, man. You might not like it, you might not look the same, but you know what I'm saying? When you look at it, you know, it might be just the players change, but the same actions and the same things are happening. We talking about all the stuff that's going on in the world. I mean, we got a lot going on. We just bombed Iran. You know what I'm saying? Our boy Trump flew him in from Missouri. You know what I'm saying? Flew him in from Missouri all the way over there. B-2 bombers, the whole get up. You know, we had people stand down. And, you know, he told them other countries, you better stand down, okay? Move if you want to. Then look at all the stuff that we got going on in Ukraine with Russia and all that different stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, man. So that's why you guys have to be aware and have a good understanding. You know, the world is actually changing in front of us. We don't want you guys to actually be ignorant to the fact. I want you guys to know and understand what we got going on. And as things are happening, let's make sure we're reading. Let's make sure we're understanding, because that stuff is going to affect you. And guess what? It may repeat itself in 20, 30, 40, 50 years when guys like us may not be around. You guys are right there. So we're trying to give you guys all the tools and all the attributes to be as successful in life as you can be. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah. I believe in all that. You know, I feel like knowledge is power. You know, so the more you know, the more powerful you are. Whether any setting that you're in, you know, the more that you know, the more powerful you are. You know, the more people fear you. You know, so if you got them brains to go with what you're saying and how you carry yourself, you know, that alone is a terrible jacket for people to see you wearing. Like, oh, okay, he's not one of them. You know, like he said with the cycle. You know, the cycle goes on forever and ever. Not even just the world, but within life. There's so many people that grew up in poverty with cycles of jail and in and out of jail and in and out of jail. Yeah, so the main purpose with school that we tell y'all, you know, make sure y'all doing what y'all supposed to do to break the cycle. You know, a lot of people in families don't go to college and graduate and finish. There's no one in my family that's went to college and graduated. You know, I would have been the first, but I got caught in the cycle and had to come back home, and my dreams went out the window because of choices I made. But I wanted to break that cycle, but I can say I went to college. You know, that's more than anyone in my family can say. They went to college. They played sports. My college was paid for due to my abilities to play basketball, my abilities to get straight A's in school. The same way you was, I was. I was intelligent, you know, and I feel like that takes you a long way in life. The more that you know, a lot of people might judge you based off your skin color, you know. And that's something you
Talk
gotta
about it.
that's something you gotta get used to in life, you know.
Man,
But
that's
all
real.
that matters when people come around like that, it's about that smile, the attitude. You know, that's gonna irritate them.
kill them with kindness. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Hey, that's a big thing. You know, even speaking about color, you know, it's a tough subject, but it's real. You know what I'm saying? We're in St. Joseph, Missouri. I know I did a feasibility study. It's probably been about 10 years ago. I was trying to get a Boys and Girls Club to come up here. I had the regional director come up here from Chicago, Illinois, a guy out of Kansas City. I think the closest local chapter we had for the Boys and Girls Club was out of Ashton, Kansas. You know what I'm saying? So I had the guys come up here, and we started looking at the demographics, so how many kids that we actually had here, and then we was looking at the graduation rate and all different things like that. And they really were super interested in bringing something like that to St. Joe, but you know, sometimes there's a little bit of red tape and a little bit of money that needs to be involved. I think we're talking about it, man. We're hoping to build our own building, okay? We have a kid on our team right now, which his dad, man, hey, looked out for us, man. Shout out to Chase and shout out to Jason, man. Hey, nothing but love, man. You know, we've been at the Bartlett Center. We appreciate the Bartlett Center, us being able to rent it out, but we actually got a kid on our team that actually built the gym. I wouldn't say it's our facility, but we get access to it Monday, Tuesday, man. Everything we didn't ask for, man. Even stuff we didn't ask for. We got a Vertimax. We got a shooting machine. I mean, it ain't nothing that we ain't got. So, you know what I'm saying? I think what all those people kind of investing in us and kind of giving us all the tools that we may need to be successful, whether it's basketball tools or facilities, man, that's a big deal, man. Even people trusting you to be on their property, you know, because years ago, you know, certain people had a certain feeling about, especially people from Midtown, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I think we had a bad rap, and some of it may have been legit, but we not those type of guys, and we really are somebody that we are trustworthy, man. If I say you can trust me, you can trust me, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what you guys, I mean, we talked about it in practice before, you know what I'm saying? We gonna be there, you know what I'm saying? Mom, dad, brother, cousin, sister, we gonna be there, okay? This ain't just the whole time you with us in reference to basketball. We friends, we your coaches for life, okay? And we're not just basketball coaches. I feel like we life coaches. I really feel like we coach them through life, you know what I'm saying? This ain't really just about how good you can be at basketball or baseball or football. No, how good can you be at life? How can we help you go pro in life? I mean, I think that's everything, man.
Exactly.
I think we will get right into some questions, man. I'm going to go ahead and go first. I think we'll start off with you, Mikal. What do you see yourself in 5 years, man? You're in 8th grade now. What do you see yourself, okay?
What's 5 years?
Going into college, it could be. Yeah, that'll be your freshman year if that's what you plan on doing. So let's talk about that. Talk to the camera, though.
I'll probably trying to get into a college, maybe like a master's in I don't know really. I don't know yet what I really like to study in college. But yeah, I would probably like to be in college or working somewhere with nice pay.
Hey, when we speak about college, okay, I think both of these young men, we gave them a chance to coach. Haven't you guys both coached one of our teams?
Yeah.
Did you guys like that? What was that experience like? Can we speak to that a little bit? Because I think, you know, you guys have some potential to be some pretty good coaches after your playing career. Is that something that may intrigue you in the future?
Oh, yeah. I would definitely like to be a coach in the future. That's like, after I would like, if I went pro in basketball or football or something, I would really like to be a basketball coach. Yeah.
Same thing with you, Kasi. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, man?
I see myself going to a college, any college really, but just being successful and having a good education and hopefully being in sports, but that's not how it is, then that's just the way life goes. So that's just the way it has to be. And talking about coaching, I had a fun experience coaching. I coached 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And they're like not too far from my age, but they listen. And it's like the discipline that O'Shea and Marco have at practice, they give it to me. And that's really what it comes down to, is how disciplined they are. And they are disciplined because of them and because of us as leaders. So I do a lot of volunteer work. I volunteered at church in Frederick Boulevard. And it was like I have a lot of volunteer hours already, and I'm only in middle school, so I try to volunteer as much as I can,
kind of give
for
back.
The future. Yeah.
And even speaking of that, man, so what do we do in the community? We do anything? Have we did anything lately?
Yeah,
as
we
far
picked up
what
around
we
the
do?
neighborhood.
What we
pick
pick
up
up?
trash.
We've been picking up
Clean up
trash.
the neighborhood.
We've had a lot of fundraisers.
Yeah.
And just giving back.
And the reason why we're having those fundraisers, we try to keep it as cheap as possible, man. We're not
Right.
trying to break nobody. We're not making no money, man. We're trying to give these guys an avenue, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do. I get grief from my wife all the time, like, why are you spending this type of money? You know, I just told her to send $400 for this tournament. She's like, what? I get home, she's like, where's my money? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, and we hoping, but, you know, we're not going to keep asking. Financial distress, financial is not going to be anything that we prohibit any of our kids. When we bring these kids in, man, we try to make it as cheap as possible. Sometimes there's some fees associated with it, but anytime we can do this stuff for free, I mean, just like we did the free throw contest and the three-point contest, that's what we're about, man. And hopefully you guys, when you get older and you get to making some money, maybe you can get back. Maybe you can do what a coach did for me. That's why I'm so passionate about it. A coach paid for me my first 3 or 4 years of playing sports, man. So that's what
Really, my
it
whole
was.
life.
That's why, man, when we got to high school, we never bought a pair of cleats, okay? I didn't pay none of them fees we were supposed to pay in high school. I think we paid $75, $100 for you guys to play middle school or high school football, basketball, or baseball. But, man, we didn't pay none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? The coaches knew. Man, hey, money. If it's about some money, man, it might not make it, man. So.
But even then, you know, when it comes to the money aspect of sports, you know, like we say all the time, grades. You know, if you know what you're supposed to do,
That's
in
that's
school,
that money for you.
Yeah, that's
all you need to do.
That's
That's
where
your
those
job.
privileges come in. If you getting straight A's, man, there ain't nothing we wouldn't do for you. You getting good grades, there ain't nothing we wouldn't do for you. And I feel like with me coming up, I didn't pay for nothing due to the fact we didn't have it financially, but the other parents, the other people around seen that I was a good kid, you know. I was all in with sports, you know, and that's all I wanted to do, you know, so in a way that was a privilege that they blessed me with, like, we got you, you know. You getting good grades, you respectful, you this, you know, so we don't mind covering that, but if you one of these kids that got bad grades and expecting someone to do for you, that's not how it works in life, you know. You do the stuff you're supposed to do, you get rewarded. You can't expect a reward for doing something you ain't supposed to do. You know, you can't be out here getting bad grades and expect to get new shoes, expect to get new PS5, expect to get this or that. You know, them grades lead to everything.
Well, that's
you know?
your job right now. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to get good grades, act
Listen to
right,
your
and listen to
parents.
your parents. Man, that's your job, man. That's really your job. We go to work and pay the bills, you know what I'm saying, pay the mortgage, but you know what I'm saying? Your job is to act right, do right, and get them grades, man. You guys are a direct representative of us, and I'm glad you guys said that in reference to the structure and discipline for the kids. You know, you give us some credit, but we got to give you guys some credit, okay? Because you guys are setting the standard. That's why we have certain expectations with you guys, okay? We want you guys to be serious and be committed and be that constant constant person in reference to the team to be able to help corral some of the kids when they're acting right, when they're acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Be able to kind of settle them down and have those conversations. Kel and Akasi, I've been seeing you guys do that a little bit more, man. We got to have that.
That's all we want for y'all is the best in life, like we say all the time. It's bigger than basketball, way bigger. We just want y'all to be the best y'all can be. Us as coaches, we would fail y'all if we don't push y'all to y'all limits every day. You know, there'd be times where, yeah, y'all might be irritated with us or frustrated with us, but the stuff that we doing for y'all is to make y'all better, is to make y'all go through these tough times, make y'all do stuff y'all don't like. That's what life is. There's gonna be a lot of stuff you're gonna have to do that you don't like us. Don't nobody like working.
No.
You know?
No, if I could quit today, man, I'm telling you, it's over.
Don't nobody like working, but
Yes.
you want money. You got things that you want in life. You got family. You got people that depend on you in certain aspects. So you gotta make those risks and sacrifices to do things that you don't like. Because I tell you now, I don't like working.
I was just telling these guys the other day, I was telling Nakasi and McKeon, we had a few other guys, maybe asking them, I said, man, hopefully we can instill some stuff in y'all too. Y'all don't want to just be a worker. You know, you want to be a leader. You want to be the boss. You want to have your own company. That's where we really want you guys to be at. If your plan is to get a degree and work for somebody, man, come on, let's take that off the table, okay? Get a degree, further your education, but, you know, start your own or go be somebody up here, okay? Have some people to work for you. Ain't nobody going to pay you like you, okay? I'm a firm believer in that. I done had 7 different business ventures, you know what I'm saying? Done lost money, you know, more money than I ever made. I got stuff in the garage right now that I be trying to sell, man.
It'd be the risk, you know.
Yeah, the risk reward, man.
Like we say, if there's something you got your eyes set on, go after it. You know, if you fail, you fail. You just gotta learn. But don't ever not do something that you want to do. If there's something you want to do it. The only person stopping you is you.
Man.
And that's what life's about. Is you control your life, you control your destiny. You know, at this age right now, y'all still kids, so y'all got parents, y'all got people that y'all still gotta listen to. But as y'all get older, y'all gotta take everything in that we taught you, your parents taught you. You gotta take it in. You gotta know how to decipher it and when to use it and how to use it. everything. You know, like I said again, knowledge is power. You know, and going into that, you know, like going pro in life, what's that mean to either one of y'all?
I feel it means like not trying to commit any crimes or doing anything that like could harm others, or like uplifting the community in some ways.
To me, it means to just be the best you can be, just be the highest, be the best. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. Just go to the highest extent to be the best that you can be. Put in the work, put in the hours, and then it'll show. That's how you go pro in life.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, you get the results. You get the results. You get out what you put in. You know, we've been having those conversations, but man, you can't have unrealistic expectations. You know, if you're not putting the work in, why should you see some results? Okay, it's not going to happen. But if you put the results in, just like we say, if you do something 18 to 20 minutes a day, you're better than 90% of the people in the world. You got to know that. If I type on the typewriter 20 minutes a day, who else is doing that? Not too many. So you're already separating and segregating yourself from that. So it's just like in basketball, whether it be baseball, football, it's just like that. Even in education, man, if you are pushing yourself and learning everything you need to learn and really taking things seriously, dude, there's nothing that you can't have. We had Elijah come into practice. It's been a little while ago, but one of his sayings, man, it really got me, man. He said he was writing on his mirror and writing on his wall. Elijah Lee, who actually from St. Joe, got drafted by Minnesota, man. Went and played for San Francisco against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and then was on the Super Bowl team. Didn't play all the games, but he got a Super Bowl ring with them, man. But he said something in practice, man. He said he was writing on the wall, "Why not me?" You know what I'm saying? That just resonated. You know, he said he was doing that, I think, from his sophomore year. He moved from St. Joe Central to Blue Springs, was the Simeon Award winner for best defensive player down there in Kansas City. He won 2 state championships, went on to go to K-State, did some really good things there, got drafted. But, man, that saying was strong, man. Why not me? That's the same question we want to ask you guys. Why not me? That's what you guys should be telling yourself, okay? If you want to go pro in sports, or you know what I'm saying, we definitely want you guys to go to pro in life. But if you want to go pro in sports, why not me? What is stopping you? What is stopping you? I want you to answer that question. What is stopping you from being as good as you want to be or doing whatever you want to do?
I don't know. I don't think that like I think that like the only thing that can really stop you is yourself.
Exactly. I mean, that was the answer. Kasi, how you feel about that, man?
Yeah, you're only as good as your weakest opponent. So there's really, you gotta be the best, but nobody can stop you really unless you stop yourself. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, and that's just how life goes. If you want to be the best, then only you can stop yourself. Don't let anybody else bring you down. Don't let anybody else stop you, because they can't.
See, because you said that, like I say in practice, none of y'all should ever say, I can't do this, I can't do that. With that mindset, you're not going to be able to do it. And that goes into saying, like, your mind is everything, you know. Power of the tongue. If you say you can't do something, you're never going to be able to do it. And the only reason you can't do it because you don't believe in yourself. And
sometimes you got to speak it into existence,
exactly.
Right?
Power of the tongue, you got to manifest the
Yes.
life you want, the things you want to be, you got to manifest it, you know. So when it comes to basketball, or even in life, don't ever say you can't do nothing. Because both of y'all could be the president if y'all wanted to. You know, it's not impossible. Like you said, why not me? You know, if you want to do it, you can do it if you put your mind really into it. And same with basketball. Like I say all the time, it's either in you or it ain't. You know, a lot of y'all say, I want to do this, I want to be that, but the actions don't match. So when it comes to power of the tongue, the actions got to follow behind the power of the tongue, or it's basically just nothing. You know, you can say I want to go pro, but I play the game all day. You know, you can't.
That's a fight. That's a battle.
Yeah, that makes it even harder because now you got to work 40 times harder than someone else because you're not all in. So like we always tell y'all, when it comes to basketball or school or whatever it is you want to do, you got to be all in. Me and Coach Kane want it more than y'all want it. Whether it's sports or in life, we can't want anything more than what y'all want it. Y'all got to want it to the point where can't nobody top y'all. Like, you don't want it as bad as me. And the reason should be because you don't see the vision I see or know what I'm thinking. And that's how we are. I got a vision in my mind that I want to be something else and be this person. Won't nobody ever understand it or get it.
You got to visualize it first. You have to.
Until I bring it to life. So, and that's what it comes down to. Like you said, the opinions of other ones don't matter. You know, lions don't concern the opinions of sheep.
No,
you
that's
know?
what we always say. If you cool, you can wear or do anything you want. You know what I'm saying?
Do
Sometimes we be
whatever.
jazzy and doing some stuff that people be like, man, what are you wearing? What are you
whatever.
doing, man? When you
And
cool, you can do all that, okay?
That just comes with confidence, though.
Yes.
You know, you got to be confident. That's what we tell y'all on the court and off. You got to be confident. When you get out there, you got to have confidence. You know, social media ain't really something you want to be on. Like me, I'm not big on social media. I don't know if Coach is either, but
I don't got
you know,
Instagram. I don't got.
I believe
got a little Facebook.
I believe social media is the killer of all joy. You know, and with that being said, I feel like a lot of people see the highlights of people's lives, see the luxury cars, the luxury clothes, this or that, and they start
Glamorize, glorify it, right?
fantasizing, and oh man, I can't never do that, or whatever the case may be. You know, you start fantasizing, and they don't do nothing but kill your confidence, because you might see someone y'all age with jewelry and chains and this and that, and y'all ain't got that. You know, so I just want y'all to understand, don't let what y'all see on social media determine y'all's fate on what y'all can be in life. You know, social media is nothing but good. Nobody's gonna ever show you the bad. Nobody's gonna ever show you the downs. They ain't gonna show you that. Social media is a false image for people to feel good with themselves.
A false sense of security type
yeah,
of.
make them feel good, to feel like they downing other people. That's not what life's about. It's downing others. You know, pay attention to you and focus on you, and don't worry about what others got going on.
It's you versus you,
You
right?
gotta wait your time. Everybody got some time. Everybody got a day. So your time might be in 10 years. You can be rich tomorrow. You can be rich 10 years from now, 2 years from now, whatever the time period is, as long as you don't stop. You know, there's no determination on when it's gonna come. You know, like me and Coach, we still going. We still going. You know, I still got that dream of, I'm gonna be working for myself. I'm gonna be my own boss. I'm gonna be a CEO. You know, it might not happen when I wanted it to happen. That's not God's plan at this moment. I just gotta stay on course and stay en route and keep going to where I'm going. Don't let nothing interfere or get in the way of what I got going or what I'm trying to be. You know, if you're in my way, you get rolled over. You're either with me or you're against me. You know, that's the motto I gotta have. If you ain't with me, hey, you gotta go. You know, you can't hang around people that don't want to be nothing for themselves. You know, you hang around 9 broke people, you're gonna be the 10th one. So you want to surround yourself with people that you want to be. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like when I'm around Polo, it makes me want to be a better person, or a better leader. You know, I'm not a biological father, but I am a father in a way. So it makes me want to be a better father. So you got to surround yourself with people like that. You want to be I don't know, whatever it is you want to be, you got to surround with people that's like-minded. You can't be stuck with people that don't want nothing for themselves and expect that you're going to get to that destination when you got them pulling you back and holding you down, you know, or not even encourage you to go and do that. You know, growing up, I had people that knew, hey, O'Shea plays sports. You know, we in the streets, he plays sports. We're not going to allow him to be around certain stuff, because that's not who he is. You know, so you got to surround your people with genuine people if you're going to do that. They don't want to do nothing, but they see that you want to be something and they pushing you. That's cool to be around them, but you know, at the end of the day, you got to be able to separate yourself. In order to grow, you got to separate. And I feel like that was my biggest thing in life, was I had separation problems. I didn't want to be the kid that people made fun of. Oh, this dude's a nerd. This dude gets straight A's and woo woo. I ain't like that, you know, but that was me. So I felt like I put on a false image and was doing stuff that really wasn't me, but I was doing it to fit in more so, to let them know, hey, I come from the same environment y'all come from. There's things y'all can do, I can do. You know, in reality, I shouldn't have been doing none of this stuff I was doing. I should have just stuck on my lane, you know, all right, I want to make fun of me, that's cool. You know, but over time, I learned. I got to separate in order to grow. Sometimes you got to leave people behind. Nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you got to love them from a distance. Nothing wrong with it in life. That's what life is about.
And it's all a learning experience, okay? You know, we only get one life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not perfect, and I've made some mistakes, but it's all a learning experience. I think that's how you should take every failure and every success in your life. It's all a learning experience, okay? I think we can do better, we hope to do better, but only person that ain't did nothing wrong is the person that ain't did nothing, okay? We tell people all the time at work, like, hey, dude, you're gonna make some mistakes, okay? It's part of it, just like we talk about in practice, okay? That's when it looks goofy, that's when it looks awkward, okay? But you're practicing and all that, you're uncomfortable, but once you get it down, you get in the game and it looks smooth and it looks fluent. I mean, that's just what it is. You gotta make some mistakes in order to get them gains and to get those successes. You gotta not be scared to fail.
Can't be. You know, leading into that, you know, who's in control of your life?
I stay in control of my life. Yeah. But there's certain things that, you know, my parents and obviously you guys will lead me towards the right things. And it's like, if I want to do something but my parents don't want me to do it, then it's probably not something good for me to do. But in the end, they're leading me to a better future, like in success. So I know I'm going to be great. So there's nobody that can stop me from that.
1,000%. Same thing, Kim.
Yeah, I think I was saying the same thing as him. I feel like I dictate my own life, but I have some people that like would guide me, like guide the way,
Exactly.
or like show me where to go. But I would have to get there myself.
And that's some of the things we talk about too. So we just want to make sure that we, you don't make the same mistakes that we made. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the goal.
And like you said, like y'all both said though, you got people guiding y'all, pushing y'all in a good direction. And like we say at practice, we can lead y'all to the water, but we can't make y'all drink it. We can give you all this knowledge. We can't make y'all take it in and accept it for what it is. We can show y'all all these drills and skills, and we can't make y'all want to do it. You know, that's what it comes down to with who's in control of your life. You control your destiny. Only thing we can do is push y'all in the right direction to our best of our ability. You know, it's up to y'all to accept our push, accept our guidance. You know, if y'all don't want to accept it, that's y'all's choice. You know, but at the end of the day, our love will never change for y'all. You know, whether it's right or wrong, we're going to forever be in your corner. Like, that's what GoPro in life is to me. Like,
And no matter how far y'all go, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be there for y'all, okay? We want the best for you. We want all the success in the world. But, you know, whether you go through some trials and tribulations and things happen, we're going to be there. The good, the bad, the sad, the mad, the ugly, you know. We love, and I think we love hard, you know what I'm saying?
And like I told you, though, with my brother, you're going to go through all these bads and goods, and if you don't fail, you can't grow. So, like I told him about my brother, I told him, a lot of people are used to having someone there to catch them in so they don't fall. Sometimes in life, y'all gonna have to go through stuff on your own and figure things out on your own. And it's gonna be stressful, it's gonna be hard, but you gotta hit that ground in order to know what it feels like getting back up off of it. If you got someone there to catch you every time, you'll never know what it is to feel like hitting that ground. So that's what it more so is. Like he said, we're gonna be in your corner, but there's gonna be times where we're gonna have to just watch y'all fall and see how y'all react. You know, trial and error, read and react. Like I go through these ups and downs, but it's all about what you do to get your way up out of it. You know, life ain't a straight road. There's gonna be a lot of curves, bumps, ups, downs. There's gonna be all that. A lot of roadblocks. It's y'all job to maneuver through it and get to that final end and that destination y'all trying to get to.
And sometimes, you know, we talked about, you know, sometimes we have to do things twice as good to get half the credit, you know what I'm saying? Not just talking about whether it's black, white, green, or yellow, but even come from where we come from, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different judgment, like, you know what I'm saying? We're judged, we're graded on a different scale, you know what I'm saying? Like, our grading curve is a little different, and man, you know, I like to look at things sometimes as a gift and a curse, you know? I think sometimes just being a deadly in general, it could be a gift or it could be a curse, you know? I think the same thing with the curve. But when you come from these big families, you know, certain people do certain things and in certain situations to where, you know, people might not like me because it's something my uncle, my brother, or my cousin did. So I never understood that. You know, I think me and O'Shea was just talking the other day just about nobody can ever hate you that didn't love you, okay? It's a thin line between love and hate, okay? If I didn't love you, why would I hate you? You know what I'm saying? If I don't know nothing about you, why would I care about your feelings or how you feel about me, okay? That's something that we don't do, man. I don't care about what nobody thinks about me. Now, I want some, you know, I want to feel a certain way, and I hope I have some respect, but the way you feel about me is not going to change how I feel about myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you that power and that unrented space in my head to be like, man, Acacia don't like me, so I'm feeling some sort of way. Acacia don't like me, and
the world gonna keep spinning.
you know what I'm saying? Miguel don't like me, and you know what I'm
know.
saying? That's not gonna stop me from doing what I need to do, providing for my family and trying to reach my goals and try to see my dreams come true, man. It's about dreams, man. It's bigger than us. We were just talking about this in reference to a podcast. We're making it happen, man, but we're hoping to do movies. We're hoping to write a book. I mean, we got a story, man. We got a story that needs to be told. I think it's something that, you know, maybe it can empower some other people. Maybe it can be motivating. You know, we've made some mistakes, but but I think we've came out the other side. So we're trying to make sure that you guys, we're gonna let you fall off that bike, but you know what I'm saying, we're gonna help you get back on too, okay? But you gotta want to get back on, and once you want to get back on and you see that you can hold yourself up there, you good. We're gonna let you coast down the hill. You know, first time Kel rode a bike, hey, this dude was over here, hey, we was living on Evelyn, he ran right into the Suburban, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he thought I was just gonna jump out there in the street and, you know, catch him, because I see you, but hey, dude, you gotta take some bumps and bruises and some scratches. You remember that, Kel?
Yeah, I was riding.
He was mad at me too.
I was riding down the hill on my bike because he made me go down the hill with
Yeah.
like training wheels and that. It was like a big hill though, and
That's
then there was
how,
like a
man.
truck, and then I hit my head on the truck.
I mean, I didn't want him to get hurt or nothing, but hey, you know, dude, you think I'm gonna stop? But you did get back on the bike though, right?
Yeah, I did.
So it took a little while, and I think it was a little shell shocking, a little traumatized. But like, hey, dude, my first experience with swimming, man, my cousin RD threw me in the pool. Okay, I was 9 or 10 years old at the Noise pool. Okay, couldn't swim a lick. Okay, it was pretty much you swim or you die. Okay, I mean that's crazy. Though. Are you kidding me? My big cousin throws me in the deep end, not the little 3 or 4 foot end. He throws me in the deep end. That's my first experience with swimming. Okay. Now, I can swim now, but I mean, that was traumatized. I'm like, dude, I almost died. He was like, oh, you all right, boy? You know what I'm saying, man? Crazy.
I still can't swim.
Yes.
Still can't.
My grandmother couldn't swim, you know, couldn't swim or couldn't drive, you know what I'm saying? So,
Put me in the water.
hey, shout out to Catherine Louise Dudley, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that woman helped make me who I am today, you know what I'm saying? So I got to give a lot of credit to that woman, you know what I'm saying? My mom passed away in 2019, grandmother passed away in 2024, man. That was tough, you know what I'm saying? So we've been having, 4th of July to their house ever since I've been alive. So it's not the same over there, but we still trying to do it to kind of keep the tradition going, man. But my grandmother, man, that was a great woman, man. That woman raised me and taught me some stuff that, you know, nobody else could have. You know, I had a hard time saying I love people, you know what I'm saying? It's only probably a couple of women. I'll say I love you to my wife, but before that, you know what I'm saying, it was my mom and my grandma, you know what I'm saying, just because she taught me so much, you know what I'm saying? And she knew that I was a good person, but I made some bad decisions. But, you know, she called me Marky, too, you know what I'm saying? That's the only person that called me Marky in this world, you know what I'm saying? But that woman definitely gave me some stories, gave me some stuff. And, you know, I think I talked to O'Shea about it, man. That's what I want to do. I want to leave a legacy for my grandmother, okay? If we build this community center, I'd love for it to be named the Catherine Louise Dudley Community Center. I mean, right there in the neighborhood. She never met a person that she didn't like. She would take people off the playground, feed them, bathe them, clothe them. We had a dude named Grease Dudley, you know what I'm saying? His last name wasn't Dudley for real, but a white guy there. He was a little bit younger than me, man, and was homeless, man. My grandma took him in, fed him. I'm talking about the whole thing, and she made us respect him, okay? Y'all not gonna be making fun of him, okay? Y'all gonna treat him just like he's one of y'all, just like he's your cousin or something, and she instilled that. If you came into grandma's house, there was no disrespect, okay? I never cussed in my grandmother's house. Never. Not one time, okay? Not one time.
Never. Respect your elders.
Yeah. I had to call my uncles and aunts. It had to be Uncle Heath or Aunt Marlene. It wasn't no just Heath, you know what I'm saying? That was a sign of disrespect, man. So that's why we try to tell y'all, you know, you got to respect. Now, I know we had some things happen in the house where I had some youngsters coming over. We got 4 boys, and, you know, some of the other kids, man, if you walk in my house and don't speak, I take that as a sign of disrespect, okay? You're coming in my house. You need to speak to me, my wife, my kids, before you move around this house. You can't just come in here and open the door and then go to my kitchen and go downstairs and you ain't said hi, bye, nothing.
Man.
That's disrespectful, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to check that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like it, but we're going to have a conversation. Hey, bro.
You ain't got to come back.
We good, man, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, you got to speak to me and my wife when you come in my house, okay? I don't care who you here to see, okay? That part.
No, I feel the same way. That's how I was raised by my grandmas. You know, I ain't got no dad. You know, so I ain't really had that male figure. Not even the uncles, you know, so I was raised by women, you know, both my grandmas and my mom, you know. Unfortunately, my mom, you know, she's still alive, but, you know, my mindset and how I take it, you know, I don't know how to explain it, like even to y'all, really nobody, but, you know, I try to tell my brother because, you know, I'm the only male figure he got. But it's like having to love a parent that's alive but don't even feel like they're alive, you know. So me and my mom ain't been on good terms for about 4 or 5 years, you know, due to some choices she made, you know, with drugs. So throughout my upbringing, she was an alcoholic my whole life, you know. Then went from alcohol to drugs, you know. So me and her really ain't been eye to eye. Like I was telling Polo, you know, I lost my grandpa not too long ago. Me and him didn't see eye to eye. You know, I think how I grew up was the same way he grew up when it comes to grandparents, but I had my own mindset, you know, when it came to aunties, uncles. I was one of those, you wasn't in my grandma's house, intermediate, you know, I don't owe you that respect to speak to you, you know, so I was more so of a, I speak when spoken to.
Right.
That's what my grandma taught me. You only speak when you're spoken to. So that's the mindset I had, but when my grandpa passed, you know, me and him wasn't on good terms, so I've always been a grudge holder. And, you know, that's something I'm still working on at 28. Just trying to let
You
go.
gotta let them resentments go,
let
man.
go
It's tough.
of past pains and all that trauma. You gotta let stuff go and move on with life. You know, my grandpa passed, unfortunately, while we was on bad terms. So it's like,
We talked
there's a
about
lot
that.
of stuff that I didn't get to tell him. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get to clear the air with him about. You know, so in my mind, it messes me up knowing that he died with probably the thought or feeling that his grandson hates him. You know, and that's something I probably won't ever let go or get over. You know, that's the same with my mom. Me and her ain't spoken 4 or 5 years. You know, last time I heard my mother say I love you was when I was 17. I'm 28. So I ain't never heard my mom say she loved me for 11 years.
As an adult one.
For 11 years, you know. And that makes it hard for me, like he said, with the accepting love and telling people I love you. And, you know, that type of stuff is something that makes me uncomfortable. You know, if my grandma says it, yeah, I believe it, you know. 'Cause that's who raised me. So when it comes from other people, it's just like
Skeptical.
it's like a trauma that instantly hits me like, I don't know why you said that, you know. So now I start making up stuff in my head about how that stuff feels, but it comes from a lot of the trauma that I haven't let go in my life. So if anything I can tell y'all is, you know, you got loved ones or people that you fall out with, you know, always make sure you try to do your best to rekindle that bond. And if it can't work, it can't work, you know. Sometimes people grow apart, you know, that's part of growing. You know, but with my life and my situation, my mom's my everything, but the same with my grandpa. She probably don't even know that because I got a pride problem with accepting the decision she made, and I won't tell her that. You know, but if she was to pass, unfortunately, without me being able to clear that air, I don't know who I would be right now, you know, so that's something I'm working on now, like I told
Right,
Polo,
right.
you know, I'm working on building the bond back with my mom and trying to push her to do right again, you know. Like I tell him, and even y'all, you know, love and hate are probably the 2 strongest words known to man is what I believe. If I say I love you, I mean it. If I say I hate you, I mean it. You know, those
It's
2
probably
words.
some action. You know,
Yeah.
they always told me that hate was an action word. If you say you hate something, that means you'll do something. You know, that's an action word. Same thing
Exactly.
with love. If I love you, I'm not going to allow something to happen to you while around. Because if it happens to you, it's going to happen to me too. And that's
Exactly.
how we was raised, man. But, you know, we've been through a lot of trials and tribulations. I think me and O'Shea, we have a very similar background. You know, unfortunately, my mother, you know, had tampered with some drugs and alcohol, man, and probably left this world a little sooner than she should because of some of her decisions. That's what I believe, you know. And that was a very traumatic experience, man. So May 19th, 2019, man, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, man, I get the call, man. They're like, man, something's wrong with mom, you know what I'm saying? So by the time I get there, I got another call. So happened to be, I knew the paramedic that was there, man. That was, I kind of wish I didn't see it, you know what I'm saying? She was in the back room, so I go to the house, you know, I'm kind of, you know, excited, kind of eager, you know, like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's really told me, but I get over there, rushed over there. I'm probably doing 50, 60 miles an hour through the sea, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, there, stop signs, hey, it's nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I get there, man, and I see my mom, you know what I'm saying? I go to the back room, she's in the room. She's laying on the ground, you know what I'm saying? They trying to pump some stuff, they trying to do some stuff, but as soon as I walked in that room, I knew she was gone, you know what I'm saying? I knew she was gone, no doubt about it, man. But, you know, it took me probably about a month to get over, you know what I'm saying? Because I was wanting to blame somebody, you know what I'm saying? My anger issues were coming back. Like, I wanted to, like, hurt somebody, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? I felt like something happened. I didn't know about it. There were some people that may have been here. So anybody that was on the list, I'm checking the list. Like, hey, dude, what was going on? Who, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really put me in a place, man. So it took me about a month to trying to get out of that funk. Never quite got over, you know what I'm saying? Of course, my mother passing, man, but that was a tough situation, seeing her. And I think I was glad that I went there, but I probably didn't want to see her in that. You know what I'm saying? I would have loved to remember her in a different way. So, you know, I still have nightmares about that. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough spot to see my mom gone, like, you know what I'm saying, from the world. No more life, no more nothing, man. And, you know, I just got to reflect like, man, I should have been here. I should have did this. I should have did that. So it wasn't nothing that I could have did, but I'm beating myself up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I kind of was having some problems, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
And,
I'm going through now.
man, it was tough, man. And even talking to people, man. So, like, the problem that I had really on the first 2 weeks, man, I really despise people asking me, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, giving their condolences about my mom, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't feel like it was valid, you know what I'm saying, like, man, I'm sorry about your mom, like, you know what I'm saying, the whole time my mom, like, are you?
Love.
You know what I'm saying, like, are you, you know what I'm saying, I didn't even want that conversation, so sometimes I just walked away from it, like, man, yeah, all right, you know what I'm saying, but people were trying to have an extended conversation, I'm like, man, nah, man, it was tough, man. So it was probably one of the toughest days in my life, and then my grandmother passing away, and then me being incarcerated, you know, some of the toughest days in my life, man.
For sure. You know, to change the subject, you know, what's some stuff that y'all like to do in y'all free time outside of basketball or sports in general?
Outside of sports, I like to I don't know. I like to chill out and like have some alone time. But like also I like talking to people when I feel like it though, cause like sometimes I don't just feel like talking to people.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, kind of like Mikhail. I like, you know, playing with my brothers and my sister. You know, on the Xbox, we be playing 2K, you know, and it's like, it's fun on free time because we don't get that much opportunities to play with each other because one of my brothers is in college, so he's not at the house a lot. And then another one, he's constantly like working at the gym and then with school, everything. So it's like mainly the weekends and like holidays that we start playing like on the game, and it's like it's really fun.
Cherishing that family time, yeah.
Gotta have it, man. Family is everything. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it, man, your family. I mean, who else is gonna love you more than your family? You know, I try to tell the boys, like, you know what I'm saying. Me as your dad and your mom, we probably love you more than anybody else in this world. And I know sometimes we're a little bit hard on you and kind of don't like some of the things that you may be saying or some of the things that you may be doing, man. But ain't nobody gonna love you more in this world than a parent or a grandparent, man. And I'm a firm believer in that. I think that's where I got most of my love from. You know, my grandma, you know, she loved me up, you know what I'm saying, really. Like, you know, she had some conversations to where I felt it, you know, and it wasn't even her words, but I felt it. When she was telling me those stories about, you know, the years past and some of the trauma that she went through, man, I felt it, man. She had me feeling some sort of way. I'll never forget, she said, you know, my grandpa put his hands on her, you know what I'm saying? I was only like 13 or 14 years old, you know what I'm saying? From that day, I was like, man, when I get older, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do something to him, you know what I'm saying? That was just my mentality because I love my grandma that much, you know what I'm saying? So me and my grandpa, we had conversations about that, you know what I'm saying? We kind of tightened it up at the end. I kind of was there for him at the very end, but man, I asked him about that, man. Of course, he kind of denied it, man, but grandma said he pushed her down the stairs, broke her collarbone, man, and I felt some sort of way about 13 or 14 years old, you know? I was kind of building myself up as a man, like, man, when I get old enough, man, you're going to have to see me, you know what I'm saying? And my grandpa was 6'8", you know what I'm saying? A big dude, but still, I felt like that. He going to have to see me. Seriously. So what do you guys plan on doing as far as, you know, school, high school? I mean, I know we don't have to talk about it, but, you know, you guys want to make varsity as a freshman, or what's some of the expectations, or how are you going to prepare yourself to be able to take advantage of some opportunities when you get there in high school? We're only a year away, so the preparation starts now. We said it was the summer of work, and we're really trying to put you out there. We tell all of our kids, man, our goal and our dream is to have you competing on some sort of varsity team as a freshman. So how are you guys preparing for that right now?
I'm trying to be, you know, the best. It's not going to be easy, but I'm trying to be the best, like, coming into high school, so it's easier in the future. Because even through sports and through, like, school, it's not easy, but it's going to get easier if you keep working in the future. So I'm just trying to be, you know, not somebody who is going to be like, oh, he's not good right now, but he's going to be good in the future. I'm trying to be going into high school being somebody that people are like, oh, I want to be him.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I want to be like him.
Yes.
You know, talking about like teachers having a good reputation. Like even at school, my whole family, we have good reputations at Bodie and at Oak Grove Elementary. We have good reputations, and that's how it is. We need to keep that up and even better. That's what my mom told me. And my dad tells me all the time, whenever we at school, it's our reputation, it's our family reputation.
And you represent more than
Yeah,
yourself. We
your
kind of
last
talk
name.
about that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that
Whether it
last
be your
name.
last name, whether it be the ballers, whether it be your friends, you guys are a direct representation of us, man. That's why we're trying to make sure you're making good decisions, make sure you're having good conversations, and make sure things are good to go. So I think, just talk about, being the change, you know what I'm saying? I think me and O'Shea talk about it a little bit that, we are the ones, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be for good, bad, sad, man, we are the ones. I think we are the ones that can empower you guys. We are the ones that can ignite the change. I think, when we talk about being Midtown, yes, we are Midtown, okay? I know we don't live in Midtown no more, but we are Midtown. We are direct representation. We came from Midtown. I think we Midtown through and through. We used to call it East Side, so I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know how they had I didn't even know that Brittany Village, they called that the East Side. I'm like, man, East Side is where we was at, man. East Side Human Resource Center, man. That's where, that used to be the community center, and that's why I was talking about doing a community center, man. We used to have a community center here in town. It was called the East Side Human Resource Center, man. My great-grandmother, they used to go down there. It was a community gathering point to where some of the older people could go in there, have a cup of coffee, have a, you know what I'm saying, a donut, and just sit and talk. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring some stuff like that back. Like, we don't have no establishments in the neighborhood. I'm working with a friend right now, one of my boys, shout out to Lil Man. He's about to open up the bar, what used to be a bar. I think it's going to be more of a rental hall, a rental venue. We could be taking our podcast from here to there, so that's kind of what I talked about. So we're probably going to be moving some things around, depending on how things go. We'll probably be podcasting from over there at the bar. So he's putting some of the finishing touches on him. I'm hoping to be a part of it, man. But we just got to have some more minority or some more black establishments that we can really go and do. I don't mind if they white, black, green, or yellow, but we got to have something in the neighborhood for us to kind of attached to, or you know what I'm saying, if we need something or we need somewhere to gather, man, we have to have that. That's why we are the change, you know what I'm saying? The change that is going to happen in the future is us, and we the only ones that can do that. If we're waiting on somebody else to do this, that, and this, that's kind of what I thought with Barack Obama, you know what I'm saying? People like, oh, he's going to change the world. No, he's the first minority or black president, but we have to put that work in, you know what I'm saying? We have to be the change. You think he's going to do it all for us? I mean, there's 3 different branches of government, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure y'all know and understand this. The president can't do nothing, you know. He still got to go through the House and the Senate, you know what I'm saying? He can sign certain things and executive orders, but honestly, though, you still got to go through these 2 other branches of government, man. That's the same thing in life, man. You got to know and understand that. You can only do so much, and there's some other people around you that's probably going to have the ability to kind of see what you can or can't do in reference to making some decisions in your life, whether it's about a job or whether it's about how far you want to go in your education.
Well, like you said, back to the Midtown, you know, we are Midtown, you know, even though we ain't there. And that's the big picture. You know, it's cool to get out of any situation you in. The more important part is to never forget where you came from. Like the old saying is, you can take me out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of me. You know, that follows me. My environment, my upbringing follows me no matter where I go. I can move to California tomorrow.
Made you who you are.
My grandma still lives in the same area, you know, like you said, 19th, still there. You know, just because I'm not there don't mean my people ain't there. And I'm always back there, you know, because this is home. So no matter where I go in the world, Midtown or the East Side, is forever going to be home, you know. There's not a place, a street that I can't walk on and not feel comfortable or safe, you know. I grew up there. My face is known. Man. His face is known. Same way with you. Your dad's Marco, so you're going to be known as Lil Polo. Oh, that's Polo's people. You know, that's what it comes down to, you know. But back to what you're saying with the black community, you know, we want more businesses, more opportunities for minorities, you know. And that starts with all of us embracing one another. You know, I feel like that's the biggest problem in society, no matter where it's at, is black on black crime, you know. To me, I feel like that's what a lot of people want, is us to do the dirty work for us, for us. You know, they want us to kill each other, they want us to fight each other, they want us to be at war with each other and forget the bigger picture. You know, unity is everything. The same with basketball, that's what we always talk about, unity. You know, we family. At the end of the day, I'm black, you black, we different colored blacks. But at the end of the day, the other people are gonna look at it as, as one color. We're gonna be one color regardless. Yes. You know, so that's what it really comes down to, is embracing your people. You know, I'm telling my little brother, he always walking past people that's black and ain't saying what up, you know. I feel like that's the biggest problem. Like, you walking past someone, they black, whether it's an old person, younger person, say what up. You know, you never know what that what up might do for somebody. How your day going? You know, there's a lot of people, especially black men, that
Kind of standoffish.
go through a lot mentally. And there's nobody there for them to care about them. And even ask them a simple question: How you feeling? How you doing? You know, simple. Those little gestures go a long way for certain people. You know, I know for me, it go a long way. There's so many days I wake up and don't get a call from nobody. How you feeling? If I get a call, it's always, hey, can I get this? Can you do that? Or it's always something that's needed, you know, and it's really more so based on little stuff that you start to cherish when you get older. It's just a little, how you doing? How you been? You know, I got brothers that I don't talk to, but when I talk to them, it's like we ain't never talked because we know we got a life to live. Everybody got a different life. Everybody got a different path. So checking in with people is real needed in this day of age, you know. Mental awareness, you know, that's big. You know, I lost some friends to suicide. You know, and that's something we didn't recognize.
And mental health, man. Yeah.
You know, mental health is big, and it's dangerous too because you can't see it. You know, it can be someone smiling, happy,
Right.
and like my grandma told me, the people that smiling are always happy or always doing for others. 9 times out of 10, them are the people that's hurt the most. You know, and I feel like I'm one of those people. Me seeing y'all happy or my stepkids happy, my brother, aunt, whatever, me seeing them happy is what makes me happy. No matter what I'm going through. As long as someone I care about is happy, that makes up for everything. So like I said again, when I wake up, that's my goal. Is how can I be better than I was the day before? Who can I make happy this time? That's what I go for. Who can I help? Who can I be there for? Because at the end of the day, like we tell y'all, we always there for y'all, whether it's on the court or off the court. No matter where y'all go in life, we're going to be there for you. And that's how I am with my family. No matter where I'm at, like he said, I'm not in the East no more, Midtown. I'm not there no more, but I still pull up there and check on my little brother, make sure he's right mentally. Still pull up and have 40 to 50-minute conversations with my auntie. Still go to 15, pull up on my aunt and talk to them and eat dinner over there. I still involved, you know, but they understand I got a life, you know. And that's why I say sometimes you got to separate to grow.
You do.
And right now, I'm blossoming, I'm growing, so I can't be trapped in an environment that ain't meant for us to grow. The best I can do for that environment is what we're trying to do now, give back. You know, never forget where you came from. Never forget the ones that was there for you when you had nobody. So that's what it comes down to, is giving back to your community, uplifting one another, you know. Hate is something that don't run in my blood or his, you know. I
Don't even
can't
like to
hate
use the
nobody.
word
Yeah.
hate, you know what I'm saying? Because hate is it's a passionate word, man. If I say I hate something, man, that's an action word. I'm a firm believer in that. So I can't give nobody that unrented space in my head or that power over me. When I say I hate you, it's something. You know what I'm saying?
I can't even be jealous of another person. You know, that don't run in me. I feel like jealousy is a sick disease, you know. There's a lot of people jealous of people. Like, we just all need to uplift each other. Like Dax, the one that's recording us right now, I'm sure he got people that's mad that he's good with these cameras and jealous.
Somebody gonna hate you for whatever you do. For whatever you do.
That's what comes with life. So basically what we're trying to tell y'all is no matter where you go or what you do in life, there's gonna always be someone that don't like you for doing what they want to do or can't do, or even the benefits that come with what you're doing. Like the stuff we doing, the stuff Dax does, connections. Now you get referrals. People want, oh, nah, I want Dax. Nah, I want Polo. I want to play on Polo and those teams. Like, that's when people start getting jealous. Like, man, I'm putting the team together. You want to play with me? Nah, I heard good stuff about Polo. Nah, that person don't like us or is jealous of our team because other people love us. So, you know, when people gravitate towards you naturally because you're a genuinely person, that makes other people jealous, you know. So when your spirits is high, you're positive, you know, I feel like that irritates a lot of people's inner demons, you know. I believe that. Like when I come around, there's a lot of people that just don't like me, you know. I don't talk a lot like y'all said. I'm quiet. You know, I speak when I need to speak.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm very aware, and that's something y'all need to work on, being as aware of your surroundings, you know. This day and age is crazy. You can go anywhere and anything can happen at any time. So the best thing you can do is be aware. And I feel like that's something I was blessed with. Since a kid, I've always been aware. You know, no matter where I go, I pay attention. I got a photographic memory. I can look at something, if it's not there no more, it's gonna throw me off. So I got that awareness to where if something don't feel right, I'm out of here, you know. You just gotta know, growing up in life, you know, again, being a minority, it's gonna be a lot of risk. A lot of people, they just don't like you just based off your skin color, you know. Like me, I get judged. I got all these tattoos. A lot of people always ask me, how long was you in jail? How long was you there? I ain't never been in prison, you know. I ain't never been, but that's what comes with the image that we hold, you know. Our skin color is everything, you know.
And sometimes how you carry yourself, man, you know what I'm saying? Because you carry yourself with a certain amount of bravado and class, and we teach you guys to be aggressive on the court, but you know what I'm saying, we're not going to back down, okay? You know what I'm saying? I'm from the school to where, you know what I'm saying, I've never been bullied or intimidated in my life since I was probably 10 or 11 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just don't bully or don't get intimidated at all, because we done seen it, we done did it, we done been around some stuff, whether it be good, bad, sad, or ugly. Man, ain't nothing I ain't seen in this world, man. Ain't nothing, man. Lost some of the closest people to me. Seen people get shot, people get killed. I mean, it's, you know, seriously, right here in St. Joe. And some people don't think that happens in St. Joe just because it's a small town, 80,000 people, man. Anything can happen anywhere now. Just like O'Shea said, I try to tell all my boys, you know, because they big physical guys, and maybe you can't beat somebody up, but everybody ain't going to take that whooping, you know what I'm saying? Some people, you know, it's the next level, man. So I would assume that people probably got a gun. We in the carry and conceal state, so you know what I'm saying?
We in the open carry.
Open carry. So 80-90% of the people, they got that heat with them. So before you step into an altercation, you need to know that, man. Curtis Cruz, man, rest in peace, man. Good friend of mine, brother of mine, was married to my cousin, man. Lost behind some senseless stuff, man. And, you know, kid was right there, man. That kind of hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? I knew that brother very well. I actually got him a job where I'm at for the second time, you know what I'm saying, before that stuff happened. And that kind of hurt me. So that road rage and different incidents like that, man, you got to back down. It ain't about being tough. You know, he was just talking about brother on brother or black on black violence. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff, man, you got to let it go, man. There's always somebody out there tougher than you. Somebody bigger than you. Somebody better than you. Somebody that wants to go to the next level, okay? I used to tell my people, hey, you want to fight somebody? Okay, that's a fight. But what if they pick up a knife? What if they pick up a bat? Now, what if they pick up a gun? You know what I'm saying? So let's think about that before we actually get into that altercation. Dang, am I ready to go from a fight to a gun? You know what I'm saying? If you're not, let it go, man. Be the bigger person. You know, live to see tomorrow, okay? You a punk because you walked away from something? You know, we tell you guys, even in school, if you see something dumb or stupid happening, even when y'all go to the Mustangs game, you don't need to be around, okay? Who needs to tell that story? People want to pull out their phone now. They're going to start filming and videotaping, man. Nah, man. If it ain't got nothing to do with you, if you can't calm the situation down, you got to keep it moving, man. Some people have a different agenda, and you know, they own some stuff that we don't even know. They got some stuff going on
there. Different demons.
Man, that you have no idea, nobody knows, and you just the peak of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? You the last straw that broke the camel's back, to where now they ready for some action. You ain't said nothing to this guy. The way you looking, the way you feeling, the way you smelling, he got a problem with you and wants a beef with you, man. Let that stuff go.
Like back to what you said with the fear part. You know, I feel like when I was coming up, probably you, same with Dax, you know, we was taught not to fear nobody, you know, and I still believe that. I don't fear nobody or nothing walking this earth that can bleed how I bleed. But like I tell my brother, fear is sometimes a good thing. You know, it can get you out of situations, you know.
It's a healthy fear. Sometimes there's a healthy fear.
And I wouldn't even say that it's a fear. I would say it's just a gut feeling, you know. Like my biggest fear is uncertainty. So if it's something that I can't control, that's what I fear. Like you said, if it comes to a fight and someone wants, I can control if I walk away or not engage. You know, but if you put your hands on me, there's no other choice. You know, but to deal with it. You know, I ain't gonna just walk away. But if I got a chance to walk away before things escalate, that's my go-to. You know, like he said, it ain't about being scared, weak, and all that. It's about knowing there's a bigger picture. You know, some people want to provoke you into that type of stuff.
It's like they want to trick you out your spot, right?
Like we just talked before the video. Can't nobody make me mad. Can't nobody make you mad. The only person that can make yourself mad is you. And that's if you allow someone to have that control over you. You know, back to working at a fact. I worked at a place where multiple white people called me the N-word, you know, with the ER. Just to try to get a reaction out of me, to get me fired. Like he said, to trick me out my spot. They didn't want to see a young black man making $1,500, $1,600 every week. They wanted to get me out of there. But I played it smart. You know, didn't react to it, didn't engage into it. You know, I did my part and it backfired on them. But more so importantly, like we said, just be aware and cautious of the decisions you make, the people you hang around, the places you go. You know, you got to be aware of all that stuff because you can't just think about, oh, that's my homie, that's my friend, you know, I'm going. You know, you got to think of the backlash that comes with it because everything got a consequence. Because I'm telling you now, if we was to go somewhere and someone got to getting on the pole, without a doubt, I'm jumping in. You know, I don't care where it goes
100%
after
same
that.
way.
I don't care if I got to go to jail. I don't care. That's not what I'm thinking. You know, that's what we want y'all to be in because y'all in sports. You get into a fight because someone's beating up Kel, that can ruin your whole future. Ruin your whole future. So it's like, we got to be aware if we got to avoid something or get up out of here before.
Yeah, because you can bring some other people in, man. I just had a
He said he was 17.
Man, still, I just had an issue with my nephew. We had an altercation with somebody, you know what I'm saying, that was going on. I had to make a call and try to, you know, reach out and see what was going on. So whether right, wrong, or indifferent, it's still my nephew. So that's how the conversation ended, man. That's my nephew. I know you feeling some sort of way. You talking about what you will do or what you won't do. How I ended the conversation, that's my nephew, man. So I'm not trying to threaten you or anything, but that's my people, you know what I'm saying? So I think the situation doesn't die down now, but man, the situation that you might put yourself into something, you know what I'm saying? You doing something might have Akasi into something, or same thing with Akasi. We want y'all to be friends like that, but make sure you know and understand the situation that you might put somebody else in, okay? It's bigger than you, okay? So if you can let stuff go, let it go. Of course, we're not going to be no punk. Like O'Shea said, somebody put their hands on me, okay, now the gloves are off. You know, I ain't never let nobody put their hands on me without a reaction, okay? And I'm always the type, if I feel somebody putting their hands on me, I know, I say I'm 6'4", 220, but I'm about 5'8", about 175, 180. So if I feel some sort of way, you know what I'm saying, I usually take off first, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm a takeoff artist, but you know, I'm the type of person that I'm not just going to let nobody put their hands on me, okay? So once I feel a certain way, okay, you know. And not anymore. I try to act right and do right, but I'm never going to be no punk, and nobody's ever just going to be able to intimidate me or put their hands on me. I'll never be a pushover. My grandmother, you know what I'm saying? She said, walk softly but carry a big stick, you know what I'm saying? So I always had that mentality, okay? You know, I might not be the biggest or the toughest, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, when I take off, it's takeoff time, and you know, hey.
That's how you got to be, though, you know? This is how it is in life, though, for sure, you know? You stand for something or you'll fall for anything. You know, that's what y'all got to decide, your principles and morals. You know, I got a set of principles and morals that I won't go against. You know, and respect is the biggest one. You know, you ain't got to like me. You're going to respect me, though, because I'm giving out respect. So if I respect you, you're going to give me respect. But if you disrespect me, it can go there, you know. But those are just different principles and morals I got. You know, that ain't even just that. It's more than that, but you got to figure out who you are, what's the things you're willing to go for, what's some things you're not going to go for, how you want to be treated, how you going to treat people.
So you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, yeah.
You'll let people push you. You can't let people push you because in my head it's called a slippery slope. If you let Kel push you, now Polo think he can push you. Polo think he can push you, now I think I can push you. So now you got all these people thinking, oh, he ain't going to do nothing. You know, so you got to dead stuff right then and there. Hey, that's your last time doing that. So he know, and everybody else around know, he ain't going for that. And that was me growing up. A lot of my friends didn't joke with me and do these games y'all still do that we was doing, slapping people on the back of the neck or the back of the head. And I wasn't one of those. Don't put your hands on me. You know, joking or not, I don't play like that. Don't hit me in my neck or none of that. Don't throw my food out my hand. Because,
No.
We're gonna be hitting every wall with this mug. We're gonna be hitting every wall, and I'm cool to be friends with you right after it. You know, so. But again, you know, growing up in life, y'all got a long road, a great road ahead of y'all. And like I said, this right here is everything. You know, this is royalty. You know, a lot of people hate this. You know, you gotta embrace it with everything. You know, because it's gonna be a lot of hate growing up just based off your skin color. You know, and it's sad to say that, but not all people are like that, but you're gonna come across those people and just know, hey, they mad at what they ain't. You know, that's just what it is. So I tell my brother all the time, embrace your color, embrace your skin. All those black jokes mean nothing, you know. Just embrace it. It's royalty, truly.
And embrace yourself, you know what I'm saying? Whoever you are, whatever color you are, embrace yourself, man. You can only be you, okay? You know what I'm saying? We talk about it all the time, even in practice, okay? We only got one Akas here. We only have one Yasnel. We only have one Kel. We only got one Malachi. You have to be you and do what you do and bring what you bring. Everybody doesn't bring the same attributes or the same assets to the team. You have to do what you do and be consistent at that and let the other people kind of play their role. We kind of know and understand what our thought process is in reference to having a team, but you do your job. Do your job to the best of your ability. That's all you can do, okay? As good as you can be, as good as you can do, that's all we're ever going to be accepting, okay? We know and understand that there's only one you, and you be that you. You be the best you. That's why we're saying, hey, be better you today than you was yesterday. If you keep doing that and keep stacking those days on top of days, like you said, you can be great, okay? No, you can be great. It's not a question. No, I can be great. When I wanted to move up and do some things, man, it wasn't a thought in my mind. I know I can. I just got to focus up and do it. And sometimes I be a little scatterbrained and I have 3 or 4 different things going on. But when I lock in, it's no ifs, ands, or buts that I can do it because I got that confidence in me that was instilled in me from my grandmother and from some of my other lineage. Like, no, you can do that and you can be great. So I think that's our challenge, and that's what we're talking about, you guys being great in the future. So it starts now. It ain't like you're going to turn 19, 20 years old and be great. No, you have to be great now. Be great now and continue that greatness until you are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old.
A head start is all y'all got.
We feel like we're a cheat code, you know what I'm saying? We're a cheat code, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to give y'all all the tools and all the attributes that we may have not been given. We're giving y'all everything that you need to be successful in life. That's why the Go Pro in life is a major movement, okay? I call it a movement because I feel like that's what we're trying to do, okay? We know we're trying to make y'all into good basketball players, but we want to make you better people, better persons than you are basketball players, okay? If we do that, that'll be our job. Mission complete. We will feel like successful, man. So go pro in life, be great, be you, and know and understand. Why not me? Why not me?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we definitely thank you for tuning in for the first podcast, the Go Pro in Life, coming at you on a weekly basis, man. We appreciate all the people looking for some sponsors. I'm sure we're going to get some people in here to try to do some things, man. We appreciate it, man. Nothing but love. These gentlemen here, man, I ain't got nothing but love for these guys, always and forever. And we're going to be like that. This is my guy here, my little big bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm not 6'4", 220, but he is, you know what I'm saying? I still got 6'6". But, man, we appreciate it very much, man. Shout out from St. Joe Mo to wherever you at, man. Tune in, catch up with us, man. More content coming to you soon. Appreciate it.
Dang.